I usually stay out of these conversations, but with Caitlin Clark, I can't stay silent anymore.
The entire arena holds its breath when the greatest of all time speaks. Furthermore, Michael Jordan was thinking about more than simply his personal legacy this time. He brought attention to Caitlin Clark, a rising star who is revolutionizing women's basketball with each shot. MJ gave a stirring eulogy that echoed well beyond the platform in a moment that stunned the court and moved Clark to tears. What specifically did he say, though, that made the audience stand up? Fasten your seatbelt. You don't want to miss this particular time. Michael Jordan and Caitlin Clark's ascent. It's not common for Michael Jordan to enter the public eye, particularly when it comes to players who aren't in the NBA. It's deliberate. People take notice when a WNBA rookie receives that infrequent attention. Jordan has traditionally refrained from offering much opinion on the women's game, preferring to watch from a distance while establishing his reputation in the men's league through branding, ownership, and worldwide influence. But when he does talk, it's not just compliments, particularly when it comes to a rising star like Caitlin Clark. The concept of greatness has undergone a radical change. Clark is not merely gathering data. She is radically changing the WNBA's image. Record-breaking attendance numbers and unheard-of television ratings have resulted from her visit. She has transformed formerly quiet games with the Indiana Fever into sold-out events with over 1 million spectators every game. However, her ascent is not only significant in terms of numbers. The ripple effects contain it. Girls are picking up basketballs not merely to play but also to be seen and heard in locations where her games are frequently televised. Youth basketball programs are flourishing, and camps are packed. That kind of effect is similar to what Jordan used to accomplish on the men's team. He did more than merely win games in the 1990s. He changed the definition of what a basketball player could stand for on a worldwide scale. There is now a new dimension to that history as his Jordan brand quietly forges alliances with WNBA players. His empire's business division is changing to reflect the commercial potential and cultural significance of elite female athletes. The question of whether the women's game matters commercially is no longer relevant. It has to do with how quickly that value is rising. Clark is the focal point of that surge. Therefore, Jordan's public recognition of someone like Clark is not coincidental. His infrequent but impactful remarks go beyond simple endorsements. These statements compel brands and fans to pay notice. Few people can compare to the weight of his legacy. Additionally, it gets more difficult for the sports world to ignore him when he draws attention to someone. It's a type of cultural transfer that goes beyond endorsement but falls short of mentorship. That crossing energy has only been intensified by social media. These days, notoriety isn't limited to ESPN interviews or award shows. Stars can communicate in real time, openly support one another, and create stories that transcend gender and league borders thanks to platforms like Instagram and TikTok. Jordan's acknowledgement of Clark landed in that setting, not as a subdued gesture but as a pivotal moment that quickly went viral online. Corporate branding have become popular quite quickly. There is more to joint marketing with male and female athletes than just visibility. They focus on synergy, a tactic that allows spectators to envision unrestricted basketball brilliance. Veteran legends and up-and-coming stars are being drawn into shared limelight moments as more businesses engage in this goal. These moments allow the past and future to collide, allowing someone like Jordan to subtly affirm a force like Clark. And why would Shaq and Larry Bird suddenly provide their own surprising admiration when Jordan's remarks looked to be unmatched? Keep an eye out. Larry Bird, who is never renowned for big public gestures or spectacular headlines, issued a statement that landed heavier than it sounded when the greats couldn't take their eyes off Caitlin Clark. He acknowledged, in his typically subdued voice, that during the previous season, he found himself watching Iowa as much as Indiana State, his own alma institution, which served as the starting point for his illustrious career in the late 1990s. It was not ostentatious. Although it wasn't overdone, it was a powerful statement for a player of Bird's caliber. Bird doesn't waste words. People pay attention when he places Caitlin Clark on the same conceptual level as the games that have shaped his career. The type of basketball that Bird enjoys is more captivating. He doesn't follow the buzz. He appreciates hard work, vision, and making decisions. And those are exactly the elements that Clark's style reflects. Her long-range accuracy, quick reflexes, and pace control are similar to the qualities that once characterized Bird. His remark wasn't merely complimentary. It showed respect for the way the game is meant to be played, which is a form of admiration. For those who recognize how uncommon it is for women's basketball to catch the attention of vintage luminaries, Bird's subtle acknowledgement said volumes. However, it didn't take long for the colorful, vocal, and fiercely devoted Shaquille O'Neal to add his own surprising voice to the expanding list of greats. Now, keeping a careful eye on Caitlin Clark, Shaq didn't instantly become a fan of Clark. His loyalty to Angel Reese, a player he has consistently publicly backed, was evident in the early stages of her WNBA career. However, something changed as Clark maintained his dominance with poise, self-assurance, and gammy-touring prowess. The hoopla and publicity weren't the only factors. It was what he personally seen. And there was no denying the change in tone when he eventually addressed it. "I'm not Shaq anymore. I'm a fan," he declared, putting aside his extravagant demeanor for a brief moment of straightforward candor. He wasn't merely complimenting her. He gave an explanation. He discussed how she enhances everyone around her, how she can create opportunities, and how she makes plays. He saw that her choices weren't merely ostentatious but also wise. Legends have been played by shock. He understands the distinction between short-term thrills and long-term brilliance. And he saw the latter in Clark. The fact that his appreciation came so readily in spite of his previous position was even more startling. There was no reluctance. Although he admitted that a player's performance can be distorted by television, he claimed that Clark's game was much better in person. Her leadership, her movement, and her choice of shots all translated. Sound bites didn't appeal to Shaq. Her maturity, knowledge, and control on the floor truly astonished him. He also made it apparent that her actions are unusual. Acknowledgement from celebrities like Bird and Shaq is more than simply confirmation. It's a change in the way those who have defined the game see it. Their admiration is not based on emotion. It is a result of years of research into what makes elite basketball players stand out. And why was Caitlin Clark left off of Team USA's Olympic roster when the clamor of legends continued to reverberate around her? Does the narrative have more to it? Let's investigate. Caitlin Clark's quiet revolt is one example of how criticism can spur a comeback. Being excluded comes with a certain stillness. The sort that stays in your chest when your name isn't on the list, not the kind that reverberates through an empty arena. Although Caitlin Clark had previously experienced pressure, being left off the US Olympic roster carried a distinct burden. There was more than one competition involved. Both supporters and detractors were alarmed by the symbolic message. It was unimaginable to many. A player who packed arenas, increased TV ratings, and rekindled interest in women's basketball is now marginalized on the international scene. It wasn't comfortable. However, not everyone thought it was a catastrophe. For Dwight Howard, whose NBA career was full of both highs and lows, it was a test that could prove to be a godsend. With no sugar-coated pity, he remarked frankly, "This should make her go harder in the gym." It was a challenge rather than a jab. Howard was not trying to lessen her suffering. He was gesturing to what was beyond it. He had previously witnessed it. Athletes that are passed over frequently manage to make everyone regret it. He had high expectations for Caitlin. Perhaps, just possibly, Caitlin's isolation provided her with the one thing she hadn't had in a long time: space. She found time to reassess without the chaos of an Olympic schedule and the scrutiny of every possession exaggerated on the global stage. She was able to hone her skills in peace when she was away from Paris. She remained in the gym while the cameras moved to other locations. She didn't use fire for show. She did it for herself. Even if the supporters weren't present for every extra drill or late-night filming session, it was continuously and silently taking place. In other news, former NBA guard Jeff Teague wasn't holding back. He believed that the WNBA had squandered a fantastic chance. "They played this all wrong," he added, shaking his head. Although Teague had never been interested in making news, his annoyance was evident when he spoke. Not only had the league underutilized Caitlyn, but they had also turned off a large number of her supporters. Suddenly, all of the games were sold out. The merchandise was flying. The numbers on social media had increased. Nevertheless, her greeting had been everything but cordial. In Teague's opinion, he wasn't alone. Rick Barry, a Hall of Famer, gave him a sharper edge. Caitlyn experienced physical abuse that was not just harsh but also intimate. He described the persistent targeting as reprehensible. This wasn't how rookies were often treated. And that said, it all coming from Barry, a player who played when severe fouls were commonplace. The interaction wasn't the only thing that bothered him. It was the top-down message. What kind of tone does it set if stars aren't protected? Every game she played during those early months had additional significance. It felt like a challenge with every foul. Every star is a cautionary tale. Nevertheless, just concentrate. No theatrics, no irate interviews. Silently and expertly, she took it all in. Things started to change gradually. Her teammates were taller. Even if they wouldn't acknowledge it, rivals took notice. A new kind of tension emerged from the silence that had previously felt like rejection. It was no longer a symbol of uncertainty. It alluded to something developing. Because record-breaking statistics and crowded arenas are no longer the only factors. The basketball world is starting to recognize Caitlyn Clark as a powerful force. Legend's silent admiration begins to feel more like prophecy as her game continues to speak. What comes next, then? This narrative is only getting started, so stay tuned. They are unable to ignore the flames. Although it appears to be a smooth ascent from the outside, there is a developing storm at its core. One player is the target of pressure, legacy, expectation, and jealousy. And the basketball world pays attention when someone like Michael Jordan speaks. He wasn't just complimenting Caitlyn. A torch was delivered to them. He remarked, "She's got that fire. The kind that scares people," and said she's better than every player on the 2025 US Olympic team. However, Jordan wasn't talking about rivals on the scoreboard. He was referring to others who, rather than being inspired by her achievement, perceived it as a danger. He pointed out that the way they target her isn't about the game. It has to do with fear.